So this is going to be a fight scene self-defense analysis, and I've chosen the Raid 2 as there's two scenes which I feel you can really learn a lot from, even though they're over the top like any good action movie. This is the bathroom fight scene, and you'll notice he has the chance to anticipate the situation, which is a great advantage in a self-defense situation. Now, awareness plays into this, but a lot of times you might not be able to read the situation or know in advance. Like the one time I was attacked a while back, and it just happened out of the blue. There were clues, but I didn't pick up on them perhaps. But here, the guy gets to anticipate the situation, so he knows just what to do. He's made a plan already. And then, now watch this. So they're expecting to move in, and instead he surprises them, pushing the door open. And some close range fighting, just using like the toilet as a weapon, the walls, obviously the elbows, and he's isolating the attackers. So now it's 2-on-1, really difficult in close range. If there were more space, I'd advise him to try and move and circle out to the side and be able to isolate just one of the opponents, but this is in confined space, as you can tell. And of course, the door doesn't stay open, stay closed rather. Let's see, so eventually the door opens and throws one guy into the crowd, and it's 1-on-1 here. And this is just great awareness, just staying aware of not only your attacker but also the environment, as he realizes someone's trying to crawl in. And the door is pushed open, and some more elbows, close range fighting. Throws the attacker out. Just distracted by my phone. Let's just see this one more time. So he threw the opponent out and delivers a knee to the face and a headbutt. And this is where it gets not just difficult but impossible pretty much. He's being stormed now in a confined space, and yeah, that's it. No real chance for the guy to escape. Had there been an exit without just entering the crowd, then that would have been the best possible thing he could do against that many attackers. Now let's watch this other fight scene. And I've chosen these two fight scenes because I think you can learn a lot from them. This one, I think there's not as many practical lessons, but it really shows the brutality of street fighting. And there's also definitely some practical things you can learn from watching this. So he's sitting with a broom, and again he has an idea of what's going to happen already, because he's trying to get ready. He's going to use the broom as a staff. I think actually I'd prefer a broom over just a staff, because you can also hook with it and there's a few more things you can do. Now watch this. So I think this is the first unrealistic aspect. Like, if this guy knows what he's doing and he's a hardcore criminal, so he probably does, then he probably wouldn't show his weapon. But we are being shown the weapon just for the sake of storytelling, so we can anticipate the situation. But realistically, if he's smart about it, he's going to move into close range where he can use the weapon before presenting it. And he strikes first, which is typically a good defense, and things being thrown, great option if you're at long range, and just so much carnage here. And a headbutt, and he's thrown onto the mud, which, like, if you're fighting outdoors or in any kind of environment, the environment will always play a factor. Like, the mud is slow to move in, and it can even be used as a weapon if you want to choke the opponent. Just bring them down to the mud where they can't breathe. But watch this. And so this is like one of the few techniques I'm kind of wondering, would that be possible? Obviously, if you knew what to do and were quick enough to react. Because the leg is a lot stronger than the arms, but of course the guy isn't expecting to have his leg twisted, but perhaps the block wouldn't be possible prior to doing it. And he goes for a choke, which with multiple attackers you just want to get up and stay standing as much as possible, but of course the multiple attackers have shown up now. Just pure carnage. I think that might have been a weapon to the throat. I wasn't able to tell. And while sitting, he uses the oblique kick and just using the opponent as a shield against the weapon. And I really like how he needs to kick multiple times, because I've been in this situation, not in a self-defense situation, but in sparring, where you get the opponent's back, and sometimes the first kick won't bring the guy down to the ground. And he's kicked onto the mud and stabs the throat and stabs the tricep area, I think. And he picks up a rock. Like, obviously, if you don't need to, like, even if you're under attack, don't pick up a rock and use it, because it can be lethal. But this is obviously a life or death situation, and it's great to be able to identify weapons and like a rock or anything you might be able to pick up. Just get to see this thing one more time. So a lot of quick stabs, and it's typically how knife attacks work. If you watch footage of real knife attacks, a lot of quick stabbing motions. And these two trying to escape, which would be the best option. Now, there's a prison guard, and he shoots them down. But if you could, then in this type of situation, just definitely perhaps take care of your friends or loved ones and just try to escape if possible. Yes, as you can see, it's absolutely chaos. Like, we see how like a club or an iron pipe or whatever it might be, it can both be used to assist in choking someone right here, as well as for blunt force, multiple attackers just delivering those strikes, and elbow and stamina. This is why stamina is so important, especially with the adrenaline going and fighting in mud. Like, you need to prepare for any type of situation. Now, this is over the top, but it teaches a lot of things still, I think. And it gets to, it's like a knife. Some X pattern strikes, just the most basic pattern, gross motor skills. think he's picked up a weapon. Let's see what happens. And you can really tell how it's difficult to move in the mud. Like, it's so key to stay standing in this type of situation. And of course it's a movie and he manages to do everything right. A lot of front kicks, which if you want to kick, that's one of the more stable ways of standing. Again, like side kicks and hook kicks, all of that, I love those kicks and they're great. Like if it's a one-on-one situation, but you don't want to go to the ground, and this just shows why you don't want to go to the ground. So he's in a mounted position, like you'd see a lot of times in MMA fights and in street fights, and they're completely focused on the weapon, and someone shows up from behind delivering a brutal strike. So definitely, if you're in a situation where you have to fight for your life, try and avoid going to the ground, and if you're down there, try and get up. I'm wanting to do more videos on this. Like I started taking Krav Maga classes as well, which is adding to my training. But just for now, if you want some self-defense tips, I'm just gonna show you a video to check out. And it's a collaboration I did with the Indian YouTube channel Viral Talk, self-defense for women, but most of these tips apply for men as well. You can see the title right here, self-defense for women, martial arts techniques for self-defense. And there's both some tactics and stuff, but also some techniques for if you're on the ground trying to get up, and even like in this type of situation, which is one of the worst possible situations you might find yourself in, laying face down on the ground. And yeah, check it out. Check out the video. My girlfriend, luckily I didn't hit her. So I just wanted to share some self-defense advice, and check out the movie, The Redemption 2 as well. Now, before I finish this, I just want to touch on something. So a lot of you have been asking about this fight, which I announced earlier, with the bodybuilder and fitness coach Lucas Myler. Now he reached out to me to begin with and was really interested in doing some sparring. He's also done a little bit of boxing, and we're going to try to make this thing happen as promised. But we'd already planned a date to meet up and do some sparring or a fight, and we need to figure out once we meet up just how we're going to go about the rules. But unfortunately he was like extremely busy that day and didn't get back to me until the day after, and since then it's just been postponed. I'm going to contact him myself when I'm a little less busy, but we're going to make this happen. And there's a few different ways to go about it. It could be like perhaps 3 rounds, one with like pure boxing, one with pure kicking or kickboxing, and one with either MMA rules or just pure wrestling, which would come to his advantage. As you can tell, he's a lot bigger than me, and even though I have probably grappled a bit more than he has, that's still not my expertise. So let me know what kind of rules you'd like to see for this fight or sparring session or whatever it's going to be. I've also been working on other projects, including a video on Sage Northcutt, which I've been wanting to do like an ambitious video essay, sort of like Nerd Writer, and channel Criswell and those sort of YouTubers, which really just goes in depth and really being creative with it. But at the same time, I work full time alongside doing this project, and so I think I'm gonna have to scale down a bit on my ambition and just find a way to finish that Sage Northcutt video. Now, if you're a first time watcher, then I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope so, whether you've been here for years or this is your first time catching a Zen-Dragon video. I try to deliver diverse martial arts content, the kind of stuff I've always been wanting to see in videos, and it's not always easy finding the time, but I really appreciate the support. So that's about it. Have a great day or evening or whatever time it might be.